Hey everybody, how you doing? My name is John Kinal. I have a rather disturbing story to tell. My mom was murdered in Winnipeg, and I go to the police and they say we're not going to investigate. And so, it's a rather peculiar circumstance where our police services are directly complicit in murdering my mother. Not only, actually, it turns out there's thousands of people being murdered in our city, and the Winnipeg police are complicit because they won't allow a complaint of murder to be drawn. And as it so happens, maybe I'm a big public speaker, and I speak for justice in our city as to how we've been criminally fleeced to the tunes of hundreds of millions of dollars each year, stolen from our streets. And I've been speaking about it for quite a while, and it's been a struggle to try to figure out why people don't react, from my vantage anyway, human. It's just I can't, and it's something, if you're curious, you can look at it yourself and go, I'm here to speak the truth as power, like how we are undone unwittingly by those who keep us in the dark. And so this has been a terrible loss for myself, and these murderers are continuing on, absent a rule of law. I so much hope that you can find it within yourself to understand it isn't just about me. If the police can just murder innocent people and tell you not to be concerned because it's just the poor, they can murder anybody. And what we need to do is we need to support calling in the Canadian military to take down the Winnipeg Police Department. Now, we know the Winnipeg Police Department, at least 99% of the officers there are honorable people. They don't want to kill the old ladies and old men at the hospitals. Beating my mom to death, they did. Fuck, they tortured her. The nurse would punch her in the face. The cops wouldn't come. And it's all documented. I got it videotaped, audio taped. It's all right here, right? So it's the nature somehow of our suffering condition that have the casual listener care not for my plight. A guy who just tells the truth and tries to save innocent lives for decades. I'm all right here, right on the internet's telling the truth. Something you're likely not familiar with if you haven't heard me speak. People are comforted in lies because often it sells that you have no responsibilities. You don't have to figure out the derivatives market, and who really and nobody would really be expected to. You'd think the SEC or those in the know would be on top of such matters, but they're not. Nobody's holding anybody to account here, and so we have huge crime scenes involving the thieving of trillions of dollars, and I've explained how those crimes occur and how we need to recoup all those stolen losses. People hear me speak on it, whatever. Well, there's just, very, very, very few people will respond to such calls for action in the defense of our falling lives. And, but now, to have this evil succeed means I'm not going to be here for everybody much longer, because I will be, in some likelihood, made homeless. I'm not going to be able to cover the cost of these bills. Trying to find somebody to move in has been a bit of a problem. I'm trying a couple other avenues. We'll see how that goes, but soon, I will not be able to cover the costs of hydro and so on. And taxes, no doubt the property taxes, there's no chance. So the demons who murdered my mother can be also happy to see the consequences of their treason against not only our communities, but against life, against God, against the universe. To beat up a little old lady and being so contemptuous to know that the police aren't coming, and they haven't for at least 7 years. They've been doing this for 7 years, So according to several nurses I've talked to on this matter, it's an unelected position. My mom went into the hospital to check for to help with her thyroid condition, and they say, no, she's in comfort care, you have no rights. We're denying your mother all the medication she needs, and we're going to suffocate her. So I call the cops, I go to the police station, look, you got to help me, they're beating up my mom, they say they're going to murder her. What the fuck's going on here? You got to help me. The college physicians and surgeons say they can't get involved in a criminal matter. And when I go to the police initially, they don't tell me they're not going to do a damn thing, right? They're complicit in the murder of my mother and thousands of others, right? But they don't tell me that's something that they're going to, they don't tell me it's something that they have no interest in looking further into. Instead, they lead me on to believe someone would. And then when my mother is finally murdered and I go back there to report the murder of my mother, they let the cat out of the bag to tell, we have no intention of doing anything whatsoever. And so they have to be executed, but it's a fair execution. You know, it's by the people of our city, of the city of Winnipeg. We, the people of Winnipeg, have to rise, and I'll do it myself if need be, but you have to find the humanity within yourself to demand their formal executions. They're tried, they get a lawyer, right, and then they're executed. You can't stand at the head of our police department and say you're not going to allow any submissions of as violations of the Criminal Code of Canada regarding murder. You're a complicit actor to the murder of my mother, and I want them formally executed. I want bullets in their heads after being tried fair. The trials will be maybe a minute long. They're going to fully admit to all these murders. They're complicit. And listen, and don't feel sorry for their losses. Why should you? Listen to how angry those cops get when they face me over and over and over and over and over again. Listen how angry they are. And what is it about that witch that makes her say the things she does? Right? You think, and it is, I'll be honest, it is quite a little terrifying. But not necessarily. It's that she is terrified. She knows every time I come back there, there's another chance, another cop who's honorable might just hear, the top secret info. What do you mean you can't? I can't submit a complaint of murder? My mother was murdered right in front of me. The Prime Minister contacted me. Look, the Prime Minister says there's nothing he can do. He doesn't even give me fucking $5. How about? The Prime Minister contacted me back and said, John, there's nothing I can do. What about my financial situation? My mother was murdered. But there's many things you can do, Justin Trudeau. You can call in the military into the police station and make the formal arrest with honorable cops, maybe invited from another city, is a good idea. What other options are there when the cops say the laws aren't going to be enforced? Well, I'm running to be the president of these United States, standing for real freedom. If I have to, I'll win the presidency and send in the American military. They're murdering poor people because we're poor. Does that sound fair to you? Hey! Does that sound fair to you? Hey! Sound fair to you? Boy, I better watch my voice here. Don't want to lose my voice here. Yeah, we won't take your submission. Go listen to the audio recordings of them saying no, and then laughing. So forward the show, man. All I want is fair say. I want justice. I want a criminal investigation, right? That's all I want. I have the whole case worked out. Dr. Chiswick has to be arrested along with Collister, Nurse Collette, Nurse Delaney. And they have to face trial for death. They're murderers. They beat up my mom. They say we're depriving you medications, suffocating you. What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? You're going to forward this information to everybody, man. You're going to devote your whole rest of your existence to ensure that everybody be on the same page here. This comfort care program is run across North America, okay? It's a position to commit suicide. They, in their evilness, trying to hide themselves, tell our society now, oh, it's okay to just check yourself in and commit suicide. This was what Trudeau actually did. Right? He says there's nothing he could do, but that's what he actually did. When he heard my mom was being tortured like this, and I begged him to save her life. Instead of saving my mom's life, he worked with these demons and decided to figure the best escape route for them is to just make suicide legal and then argue it in court endlessly. Well, they must have known it was suicide to deprive your loved one her or his life. Right? That's what they do officially when you sign in for comfort care. My mom didn't sign in for nothing. Right? We didn't sign to be suicided. So I want justice here. I want these people executed. They knew all along this was the case at hand. They would constantly be trying to get me to agree to all their policies. You don't want your mom resuscitated if something should happen. Yeah, I do. What are you saying? No, you don't. No. You know, they're so wicked, demon evil here. And they repeatedly tell me this, and I repeatedly say no. And guess what Charlene says the day she's complicit in my mom's death? She says, I'm not resuscitating. We're not resuscitating. So, spread the good news. Guess who's in town? We, the people.